Welcome aboarder. The issue is immigration. And the question is doing away with Title 42 heading for a disaster at the border?
Political revolution of the millennial
Welcome to Political Playlist.
All right, are we ready, guys?
Happy Hour.
Happy hour.
We fucked that up so bad.
God.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Political Playlist Happy Hour. I'm Michael Kristoff.
I'm Anna Muskie Goldwyn.
And your third favorite person here, Anthony Barquette.
And here's the deal, guys. We are the only place on the internet to find a happy hour conversation about young congressional leaders under the age of 45. We are nonpartisan. We do it with cocktails, and we're doing it because this is bold. Wait for it. We would like to change the political conversation. Boom.
Hell yeah.
We said it.
I have a nice chilled glass of white wine.
I guess I bet you can guess what I'm drinking.
Anthony's drinking a dirty martini.
Right.
God.
Wait, I thought
drinking
you weren't
a
drinking.
non-alcoholic Topo Chico. My friend Nicole and I were talking about how we think that we have like a cocktail or a wine every day, like with dinner or something. And
Sure.
our friends were like, I bet you can't go like multiple days. And we were like, bet you we can. So we're doing 5 days of no drinking.
Oh, that must be so hard for you.
Wow, 5 days. Wow, you're such a hero.
Like it's not even a weekend. It's literally just a week.
You led with a great question. Can you give us that again? And I want to dive into this because I feel like we have a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So my question is doing away with Title 42 heading for a disaster at the border?
What is Title 42?
All right, well, let's just jump into it, Hannah.
Let's do it.
April 1st, on
April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day, Biden announced that he was lifting Title 42. This is a restriction that blocks migrants from entering the U.S. on both of our borders, the Canadian and the Mexican border.
Well, we should clarify, too, this is a policy that stems from a public health law, correct?
Oh, yes, I'm getting there, Michael. Don't jump ahead.
Don't
Don't rush the man. He has a
Sorry,
plan.
I haven't had a cocktail to calm
Oh my
down.
God.
Yeah, see, you got to wait a little bit.
Ugh,
This
don't
actually
wait.
comes from the Public Health Service Act of 1944. It permitted federal health officials to prohibit entry of individuals and goods from foreign countries
Wow.
when there is a communicable disease present.
Was there a disease in 1944? There were a lot of immigrants.
So, Michael, you were alluding to this. This came from President Trump in March of 2020 during the middle of during the start of the pandemic, when he implemented Title 42, which was to curb the number of illegal crossings at the U.S. and Mexico border.
Can I ask a question? How does Title 42 relate to asylum seekers?
Oh, actually, I know this. Okay, so Title 42 suspends your right to asylum law. So basically, if you are a migrant processed through Title 42, you cannot then file an asylum claim.
And not always all the immigrants were being processed under Title 42 during this time.
Okay.
So
Let me walk you through some timeline stuff here. So since May of 2020, there have been more than 1.7 million migrants expelled on account of Title 42.
Wild.
Since last September, the Biden administration actually launched one of the largest single Title 42 expulsions to date, which accounted for about 10,000 Haitian migrants. Before we kind of get into what our young lawmakers are saying, Anthony, can you kind of just give us a little bit of an overview as to like the thinking behind why they're now deciding to do away with this, and what the kind of understandable uproar is around this?
they're basically saying, COVID is kind of coming to an end here. So this can be lifted, but we're dealing with various different state mandates, city mandates, and you still have to wear masks on planes. That was just extended as well.
Worst.
So it doesn't really make sense to be lifting this right now either. And this sort of brings me to a lot of our young politicians were in an uproar about this from Republicans and a lot of the centrist Democrats, I would say.
I feel like so much of what I've learned in learning about all these young politicians and understanding like how they express their opinions, there's so many freaking letters. There's like letters to Biden, there's letter to the cabinet members and so many studies. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, what you should understand our government is doing.
But also just like think about normal day people. They're always like, yeah, so I wrote them a letter, right?
Right.
My neighbor was loud, so I wrote them a letter.
Everyone's aunt is like, I wrote my city council member a letter.
Anna, how many letters have you written this week?
Handwritten letters or
No, like angry complaining letters.
Oh, I'm not an angry complaining letter person. There was only one time that I wrote an angry Yelp review.
Moving along. So the Republicans write a letter. There were about 60 of them who joined this letter to President Biden. Now, I want to just preface this. April 1st is when Biden announced this. The letter was written within the first couple of days. I think it was April 4th. And then April 8th, actually, we ended up having an actual bill introduced into the House called the Public Health and Border Security Act of 2022.
Okay, we like the progress from letter to legislation.
And this is what I really loved to see was we had, about 6 of our members on our platform who were part of this in introducing this act.
All Republicans?
No, this was a bipartisan bill, Anna.
Wow. Okay,
Can we guess?
Yeah, can we guess the Democrats?
Sure, I'll let you guess, but I have some quotes from them later for you to guess. So,
great.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta believe Dan Crenshaw's involved in this.
Nope, he's not.
Wow.
Okay. On the Democratic side, I'm going to guess Jared Golden.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
'Cause
wow.
He's on both sides, basically.
Abigail Spanberger.
No.
Okay, wait. So who are the big players?
So we got Jared Golden, right?
Yeah.
He's a Democrat from Maine, but he's very centrist. You have Chris Pappas from New Hampshire.
Interesting. Okay.
You got Stephanie Murphy from Florida, Democrat.
Yeah.
And you got our kooky Kristen Sinema, who's the senator who introduced the Senate legislation, actually.
So all kind of border states.
All border states. And then our 2 Republicans.
Yeah.
Tony Gonzalez from
That makes
Texas.
sense. And wait, can I guess the second one?
Yeah, do it.
August Pfluger?
Yeah. Love it.
This is so rigged.
Anna is smarter than you,
It's
Michael.
not rigged. I just pay attention.
I will say out of this whole group, Tony and August have probably been the 2 biggest people talking about border security and from our platform. And can I just tell you what the bill is about so you guys understand what it is? Yeah. Okay. So it's going to prevent Biden from lifting Title 42 until he addresses the expected surge of migrants at the southern border.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually more focused on the southern, not the northern.
Yeah, of course.
Shocker.
Yeah. So basically,
They're like Canadians.
it would prohibit the Biden administration from ending Title 42 for 60 days after formally ending the COVID-19 public health emergency.
Got it. So they're tying it to that, basically.
Yes.
Well,
And then within 30 days of ending the public health emergency, the president has to submit a plan to Congress about what he's going to do to make sure this process goes smoothly.
What I was going to say about the COVID side of this is something I saw that brought the Republican argument kind of into a new view was that Mike Gallagher, a Republican from Wisconsin, he recorded like a selfie video as he was walking through an airport and he had a mask on because we still have to wear masks in airports. And he basically was saying Biden just lifted Title 42 because and the reasoning being that COVID has gone from pandemic to endemic, but I'm still walking through this airport with a mask on. And if really it's gone to endemic, then like you can't have it both ways. And I thought I think that's something that politicians need to be better at. I thought that Mike Gallagher did a good job is like, let's relate all this to reality.
I think this whole thing proves sort of 2 things. The first is that I think what pisses me off is that this is so riddled with classic political hypocrisy, right? In the case of the Democrats, they're saying, oh, COVID is no longer a threat for incoming migrants, yet we're extending mask mandates. And for Republicans, right, who enacted this policy initially, they didn't take COVID seriously. They didn't take health precautions seriously, and yet are using a health law to act as very, haphazard immigration policy. And so that leads me to what I think this proves is that the border is very broken, and we need serious, comprehensive policy to address this.
I think we also need compromise, right? It's like, I feel like immigration is one of those things. God, I wish that George Bush just like solved immigration like he said he was going to, but,
or every president, honestly.
But I feel like George Bush literally was like, I'm going to solve, like immigration was his thing. And then it just got very diverted by 9/11 and the war in Iraq.
Do we think this is going to be the campaign issue of the 2022 and 2024?
I think
and I think it's telling that all the Democrats on that list, except probably Jared Golden, but he's like so purely centrist, but they're all from super swing districts, right? They all have really competitive races.
Right.
And I feel like you look at someone like Chris Pappas, right? He is coming out and introducing this bill, and it feels like we see these glimmers where it's like, let's get Chris Pappas and Tony Gonzalez in a room and like, let's just have them talk, right?
I just got the chills.
Yeah. Welcome aboard.
You know what? The wall just got 2 feet higher, Michael.
It's going to be a beautiful wall, terrific wall. They've got one in China. People don't talk about that.
Wait, has he said that before? Or did you just say that?
I've been working on a Trump China wall.
That's the funniest Trump thing you've ever said. Also, because the Great Wall of China goes through the middle of the country, keeps all the Mongolians out.
Honestly, beautiful wall. You can see it from space, but we're going to have an even better wall. It's going to be the most beautiful wall you've ever seen.